Okay, cool. So I've managed to get in a safe and socially distanced way down to our studio, which is in Bath, Stage 2 Studios. Very lucky that Dan, our singer, owns the studio. He has rehearsal, recording, all of that sort of stuff. Currently not open because we're in lockdown. So by pre-arrangement, I've sort of come down to get my live board out, my amp, one of my cabs. I've done some videos at home, sort of some play-alongs, and I've got a home rig which is got a posh switching system, sort of a Boss ES5 because I don't like tap dancing, and a Line 6 HX Stomp, which is part of the Helix range. Originally I'd bought that because I was going to retire my current board. It's been served me well for the past 12 years. However, it just didn't sound right, so I'm probably going to scour the internet, eBay and stuff for some Boss GT8, which I'll take you through separately in a minute when I get the sort of camera down, the various different sounds. But I'm going to sort of have a run through of my sounds, a couple of riffs, and going from there. But we'll talk about where the sound starts. So I think I've said before, I've had this Core Mac Guitar Murphy, so an MGM1, since around about 2001. It is an Agathis body, maple, not through neck, not bolt on. What's the other one? I think it's it's a glued neck basically, and then it's a maple cap on top. It originally came with Mighty Mike pickups, which were fantastic. However, luckily I got picked up by Planet Tone Pickups, who are based out in Denver, Colorado. They are a sort of boutique pickup maker. They've got quite a lot of pickups on their roster, from humbucker single coils for Strats, Tellys, you name it. Jose, who owns it and runs it and makes them, is a lovely guy. We sort of talked about what the Mighty Mites were doing for me, and we settled on these sort of custom wound legacies from them, and it's sort of like the 70s sound, because I like a pickup that will clean up. So it's not super high output, so it does clean up quite nice, but it has got that really sort of like punchy mids, which are really, really important, especially when you're playing like we do in drop B, which is C sharp standard with the low string drop down to B. Things can get muddy for absolute sure. So having that mid-range punch really helps me cut through what Jim, our bass player, powers through, obviously, and then what the dynamics, the drums and the vocals are hitting. So very, very lucky. I'll go through my pedal board. So contrary to popular belief, my sound, actually the main sound isn't fuzz, it is a Boss DS1. That's my main distortion sound, somehow through my lovely Marshall here. So I've got JCM 2000, it's a TSL 100. It has been modded, and I believe it's either a 93 or 97 model. I think it's 97. I picked that up second hand in Exeter in a phenomenal shop called Manson's. It's been there since I used to live in Exeter, and it was serendipity. One day, sort of walking around, I was down seeing family, and had it like a valve head. I think it was like a PV Windsor 120, and it just wasn't right. And I was thinking about sort of swapping out for something else. I was probably going to stick with PV. I think they had something like something King for a while, and there was a Satch head as well. But then this was just sat in the middle of the shop floor on a cab, and it was, I think it was like 500 quid. And I said, well, you know, can you post it to Bath? And they're like, yeah, no worries. Got it back. The power stage tubes hadn't had the best of life, so I had those changed by a local electrical engineer who actually upgraded a few of the bits and pieces. Now I have no idea what, but in the studio they have got one of these as well, similar age, similar vintage, and they sound nothing alike. Obviously this one sounds better. The cab underneath is one of two. This one is wired 8 ohm, the black one is wired 4 ohms. I do prefer the black one, but that's tucked away in the cupboard, so I can't be asked to get it out. These are custom made cabs. There are no square edges in there, so where the speakers sit, there's no sort of like angular bits. It's almost like an amphitheater, so it really whomps it out. I absolutely love it. And just having a quick blast a second ago. I've missed playing with a loud amp. I haven't got earplugs in, so don't tell the earplug police. Right then, so on my pedal board, I've got a Boss GT8 which I've had since 2007. I avoid any of the COSM modelling stuff. I literally just use the old analog circuitry that's in there for the Boss drive pedals. I use on my lighter distortion sound, I think it's a Blues driver, which is sort of like a, I suppose it's like a tube screamery sort of thing, but Boss's own take on it. What people normally do is they use it as a boost. I've actually ranted the shit out of the drive stage, and I get a really usable sound that I want from it. My main sort of heavy sound is, like I said, the DS1, which I love. And then the lead sound, I think controversially, it is either the heavy metal, the HM2, or the metal zone, because it's got a real mid-range honk. And again, it's all about cutting through. It's not about how loud you are, it's how you're using those frequencies. In the loop of that, actually I should say, for my clean sounds and for the delays and reverbs, I do use, obviously they are digital in there, can't afford Strymons and stuff like that, so, but it works for me. And also switching between the patches, there's a spillover, a trail, so it's none of that sort of stoppy start sort of thing, which is something I'm yet to nail with the Line 6 thing I've got for my home rig. So in the loop, I've also got a Way Huge Swollen Pickle, which is a fuzz pedal which I use to accentuate certain parts, but I don't have it on all the time. And I've also got a Tube Screamer clone from Joyo, really, really cheap, 30 quid. They sound great. How long they last, I don't know, but I've had that one about 3-4 years. Yeah, for 4 years. Seems fine. I've also got a Boss RC30 looping station for some bits that we do live, just so we can keep the ambience going. And then I have a Shure GLX-D 16 wireless system. I love it to bits because I'm really vain on stage and don't wear my glasses. I'm not quite blind as a bat, but small displays I suffer with. So this has a massive, if I turn my sound up, massive tuner built in on there, and I'm just slightly sharp on that guy. Let's bring him back up. There we go, almost there. So that guy does that. So anyway, let's take you through some sounds. So my clean sound is a mixture of, I think I said this before in another video, I prefer flange to phase. A lot of people within our genre use phaser and in rock, but I prefer flanges, just do. Reverb and some delay on here, and would use it on the start of a couple of songs like off Cigarette, was it? Hopefully the audio quality you're getting will be good enough. Obviously I'm not recording this into the desk there, it's literally into the GoPro audio. So I'm gonna have fun beefing up my voice and then obviously cutting it back for this. So yeah, that sound there. Happy days. The Swollen Pickle, so Way Huge, brilliant guy called George Trips. He's worked for Ernie Ball, I believe, or is it Dunlop, MXR. He did a stint with Line 6 as well, but he started with Way Huge, and I think that company's been bought by Dunlop. I have another one of their pedals called the Fat Sandwich. Really good recommendation from Tucker at Vintage and Rare Guitars in Bath. I was sort of talking about I'm starting to build a better pedal board, or a really good sort of saturated, not distortion, not fuzz sound, and he recommended the Way Huge Fat Sandwich, which I have at home. I'm actually going to whip a few of these pedals off of here, because obviously we're still in quarantine, and bring them back to my house so I can have them at home, maybe sort of record some new stuff, who knows. And then I think when we were recording the last album, I think it was Terra Solis, Josh, the engineer here at Stage 2, had a Swan Peak. So I'm selling it, and I think we used it on the album, and I was like, right, I must have that pedal. So you have another clean sound which I use for I think it's Enter the Ziggurat. There's a tremolo on here. So with that, there's tremolo on there. There is a flange on there as well, but it's a bit of more of a scooped sort of sound, give it that sort of dissonant sort of feel. So that's my other clean sound. Now back to my main patch. So we've had the first sound of that. My next stage of dirty sound is one that I use for stuff like Afterburner, Tree and the Serpent, the sort of post-rock bit in Diesel Breath. So there's quite a few there. The delay set on it is a weird set to delay. I can't explain how it works, but it works well. If we play a little bit of Afterburner, we'll go from there. So quite a lot of repeats on that. I can't remember what the milliseconds are set to. I'm sure I can have a look if you're that bothered. Write in answers on the back of a postcard. Yeah, so that is that sound, which sounds pretty huge. We have actually recorded a new song which is due out of our chums Howling Giant. It's a split release. We're kind of sat on at the moment, and I use that sound as well, but in conjunction with the Way Huge Swollen Pickle. I must say I do use a noise gate. I suppose it's the Boss NS1. Some people say, oh, the noise gates, they ruin the feel of stuff and what have you, but not being funny, playing at volume, if you get the sweet spot, then you don't lose any sort of tonality or feel, I think. Currently, volume wise, I'm probably almost at gig level. Let me just whack it up a tickle, not a lot. We'll go from there. So let's have a we'll have a sound blast without the first pedal, then we'll have one with. Right, so let's have it with the Swollen Pickle. Massive, absolutely. So, Tree and the Serpent. So that is, yeah, so Swollen Pickle. That delay sound there, absolutely lovely. Right, my main distortion or fuzz sound or whatever you want to call it, like I say, it's a Boss DS1 with the driver. Must say, this guy, all the channels sound fantastic, but literally I'm just using the clean channel. All of the dirt is coming from the Boss GT8. After the GT8 they were shit. No offense Boss, but they just were. That's why I need to find some of these second hand. So I've got a backup unit. So yeah, here we go. I think I've got no compression on this. Noise gate, yes. I don't think there's any EQ on it. It's literally just a Boss DS1. So let's do Time Stood Still. Pretty damn good, and again I'm pretty damn loud, so right next to my amp. That noise gate works fantastic. I don't care, I hate noises on stage and stuff like that. So bit diesel breath. Boom, that's nice. So yeah, essentially clean, dirty with some delay, main distortion sound. On this setting I do have a delay and reverb thing set up for a bit of ambience, like on the end again of diesel breath. So the very last big thing, I think I've got the swollen pickle on there. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Quite a lot of repeats again. They diminish quite quickly so it doesn't get in the way of the mix. Okay, so the lead sound, when I step on the lead pedal, number 4, it automatically engages the wah. I have Kirk Hammett disease. I love the wah. I find it really, really hard. I think I use it as like an emotional cloak or like a talent hider or something like that. So when I step on the lead channel, the wah automatically comes on. I have to jump to it. I don't know, it's just one of those things. So let us do, what should we do? Another plane. Let's do another plane. So reverb and delay on that, a little bit less than the other ones. Don't hide behind it too much, but I hide behind the wah. I will try and write stuff without a wah in the future. That would be quite cool. So what does it sound like without? So quite a mid-range honk. I think I've backed off the noise gate on that one simply because I like to play with the feedback as much as I can to get the sweet spot. So that's happy days there. So essentially that is the sounds coming out of my rig. Like I said, I've used this GT8 since 2007. Obviously Hoof didn't start until like 2012 or 13, but previous to that, and I just like it. I used to have lots and lots of pedals. I used to switch between them. I got bored of tap dancing. This was before looper pedals, switching pedals were readily available or within a reasonable price point. So I went to this. I've had some shit ones in the past as well, notably Zoom and other bits and pieces. I know for a fact, a good, well, crikey, lifelong friend of mine, Paul, who's in the current reboot of Acid Rain, the guitarist, he has an Boss ME5. So the ME5 came out in the mid 90s, and I think, if I'm right, he used that same board up until a couple of years ago when it eventually crapped out, but he found one online super cheap. So Acid Rain, phenomenal band, excellent musicians, great thrash metal tone. He uses a, you know, one of these things. We don't all have to have all the boutique pedals. I'd love to, but then I'd have to learn something else. Right, I suppose I'll talk about a couple of my other guitars. So I've talked about the core. Like I say, this is my mainstay guitar. Absolutely love it. Planet Tone Legacy pickups. It's the original Tunematic bridge that was in there. I've had a bone nut put in it, and it's the original tuners. However, they've suffered over the years, so I'll probably upgrade those at some point. Fretwear wise, same frets, and it's just lasted, which is amazing. So let's pick that guy up. I suppose better talk about plectrums as well. So plectrums wise, I tend to use the Gin Dunlop. This is a Tortex Jazz 3, which is sort of quite small, and it's a 73mm. So there's a little, well, 0.73mm, so there's a bit of flex. Got recommended these, the again Tortex, the Flow, 0.73mm, slightly bigger. I'm mixing and matching between them. Tend to use these on acoustic a little bit, which is quite cool. However, yeah, it's normally these go-to ones. I tend to prefer bright colours or white, because if I drop them on stage, I haven't got many left. You can always find them. Black pickups, you can never ever find them. Rightio, and we're back again. So it's really prudent to have a backup guitar. You might have the one love, the guitar that does it all, but even if your strings are fresh, by the way, I use Elixir strings. I think I've talked about that in another video. Elixir strings, the nano web coated, but with Gore-Tex you can't feel that they're coated apart from the super slinky. Love them to bits. But the point is, yeah, even if your strings are fresh and your setup's good, shit will happen and you will break a string, and there's nothing worse than being on stage, whether it's in front of 3 people, 3,000 people, or 30,000 people, and you have to, you've got to restring because you've only got the one guitar. I know it's a luxury, you've got to save your pennies for it, but it's really prudent to have a spare guitar. So I've talked about how much I love the core. It is literally just the perfect guitar. I do have another guitar for another application, which I'll take you through on another video. That's currently at home, which I love to bits as well, and they're all the same scale length. They are 25.5, so the scale length is between there and there, so from the nut and the bridge. So I do love Ibanez guitars. I've had a few of them over the years, some that I let go, which I'm really upset about. I kind of like the double cut thing, but I don't like SGs. I've got an SG, but it tends to go like that a lot. And Les Pauls, I can never get my fat mitts in the heel, so I sort of steer cleared away from those. So I did a lot of research, and this Ibanez AR740, is it? You never know. I think it's one of the shortest model numbers Ibanez have ever had, or one of them. There we go. Made in China, which is a shame, because obviously Korean ones are fantastic. Nothing against the Chinese ones, but they can be a bit hit and miss. This model has been around since the 70s. Currently in Vintage and Rare in Bath, they have the original version of this. I don't quite have the pennies to buy it. When I do have the pennies to buy and it's still there, I will get it. Same scale name, same neck radius per se. Slightly different place that it sits on the body, but it's slightly longer out here. The other one's a bit more sort of in on that, but you can also muscle that around. Nice thick joint on the headstock there. So this guy, again, fitted with my Planet Tone pickups. They are the Legacies, custom wound for me by the wonderful Jose at Planet Tone over there in Denver, Colorado. So this is my backup guitar, which seems a shame because it is a lovely guitar. Let's go through some similar sort of sounds. So let's go through clean first. Similar sort of output to the Court. So I've set the heights of the pickups up in a nice way. Pickups wise, I tend to just use the bridge. I think on Terra Solis I did use the neck pickup for some of the recording, but Josh the engineer was like, some of that is a bit too wompy. Yeah, clean sound. Let's have that afterburner sound. Let's try, what other riffs have we got? Oh yeah, I don't play this one that often. So onto the main distortion sound, or first sound, or drive sound, whatever you want to call it. Priestess of Misery. I love that song. The rest of the band fucking hate it. No idea why. I don't think they hate it. They just don't like playing it live, which we will do one day, I can promise you. So yeah, this guy's throaty. Let's have a bridge pickup, both together. Nice. Let's have the neck. Lush, absolutely love this guitar. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I wish I used it more, but like I say, when you're in love with one, then unfortunately something's become second fiddle. But this is a worthwhile guitar. It's about 750 quid. I don't know if they've discontinued this one now, but I really love it a lot. Okay, finally, one guitar that I obviously don't use in Hoof a lot is an acoustic, although we do record with them quite a bit. Again, my love affair. Oh, hello. My love affair with Ibanez. I think the first Ibanez I had was a Roadstar back in the 90s, and I think I had one of their Roadstar basses as well, because I played bass in a thrash metal band for quite a while. And then I had an Ibanez 540S, which is a sort of thin line ones, and I hocked that because I was escaping Exeter to Bath to pay off my nasty landlord at the time. One of those things. So this guy is an Ibanez. I think it is, they've got the longest serial numbers in the world. So this is an EWC 30A SERL G121. All I know, it works really, really well. It is a, what the hell is this? Some sort of like Fishman pickup thing in here. Lovely sort of, I don't know if that's like a Koa. It's the Exotic Wood series. Again, no fret markers on there. So love this to bits. I've never played it through this, so let's find out. Let's see what happens. Pretty nice. Yeah, nice. And then acoustically on its own. You're not really going to get much from that. I'm actually going to be taking this home with me because Dan's given me some homework to give an acoustic treatment to some of our songs. So I'm going to record them at home. I've got the stems from the other songs, so I can sort of guide myself along that. And then send them across to Dan, and then he can put his vocals to it. So it'll be like the quarantine sessions, the days of Rona, unless the Obelisks have absolutely copyrighted that. I'm not too sure, but we'll find out. So there you go. That's my sort of rig rundown. If any of you want to know how to play any of the riffs, please comment on this video. If you want to tell me how shit I am, please comment on this video. I don't give a fuck. I'm finding it hard enough talking into a camera in this age of narcissism. It's really, really weird. But obviously, you know, we really appreciate your support and your love for us, which is amazing. So this is our little way of saying, well, you know, we're still doing stuff and this is what we do. But if you want to know some riffs, I'll do my best to record some. So yeah, if you want to learn how to play some tunes, certain riffs, certain things, let me know. If you want to know exactly how I've got the sounds out of here, I'm sure I can come down here again and just press buttons until I find the different settings. Is what it is. But anyway, thanks ever so much. I hope you're all keeping safe, sane and well. It'll soon be over, I suspect. Back to some sort of normality or a new norm. Let's hope it's better than the one before. All right, cheers guys. Peace out.